Meet Billy Evans.
It's the fascination of it that gets you, I think. The fascination of the glass itself in all its stages.
Shadrach Westwood.
It's just the look of it. I've picked some foreign stuff up, but I don't think it will come up to the English. It's got that ring in it, the English, as you can tell it. When you eat it, it's got that little tinkle in it. Yeah. And it's very fascinating at times. Very.
Mac Bagley.
Now that's one of the major things in making a good article, by working on your left hand. You've got to sort of work light and let the work come up to your toes. And that's where the pressure on your left hand makes it more beneficial.
And Albert Smith.
You've got to have an efficient team. You've got 4 visitors and no good. You've had it just the same. If they aren't good enough, most of these chaps what work for me, I've learned them from lads, see, both of them. But you've got to have an efficient team.
Sand, lead, potash, saltpeter, and borax. It doesn't seem possible it's going to come out as glass, but it does.
Yes, you're never tired of looking at beautiful glass. I don't think anybody's ever tired of looking at beautiful glass. Not that every piece is made is beautiful to me, but it's fascinating, the glass trade is, I think.
Doesn't look like a modern industry, does it? Well, no, it's about 300 years old. There's only about 650 in the whole of the country that on this type of work. And out of those 650, there are probably only 60 that are real glassmakers. The glassmakers that we call them, that finish the article by hand, those are the glassmakers that have gone right from the start of the chair right to the finish, to be from a taker into a workman. People have been saying for more than 100 years that the industries are dying, but I don't believe so.
Nor does Mr. Reg, the boss.
It's the quality that counts, you know. You can tell fine English crystal by its brilliance and by its ring. There's a tremendous heritage of quality in this particular Stourbridge area. Here we've been going for a very long time, and fathers have bred sons, and so it's gone on for generations. In my case, I'm the 5th generation of the family, which started here in 1824 in a works that had been going since 1740. And here, after all these years, we still keep this tremendous pride in all that we do. It was the Huguenots who brought this wonderful industry to this district 300 years ago. And they settled in the Pensnet Chase out here because they found the raw materials that they wanted. They found wood to fire the furnaces. They found coal after the wood. They found wonderful pot clay, as we call it, for making the crucibles in which the glass is melted. And they found bracken in the woods for burning to make potash. And so they remained, those Huguenot families of Tyzac, Tittery, de Hennezel, who started our own factory. And they didn't get rich, not very rich, but they were gentlemen glassmakers. And they married into some of the very best local families and made fortunes for themselves in that way. We've got, in this curious little area, 3 villages, Wordsley, Brierley Hill, and Amblecote, a succession of great glassmakers and great craftsmen.
I'm going to tell you, if you're going to have this decorated like this, you've got a long way to go to find the man who's going to get the tools, make the tools to decorate it.
With the olden times, we used to make everything behind, didn't we?
Oh, yes.
Not all the cheers when I first started, and I started in the glassworks when I was 14 years of age.
Yes.
All this work, it's done with a half pillar stone. All these pillars, done with a half pillar stone. And then polished afterwards. You see now, you've come down that way.
To anyone that's worked in the glass trade, glassmaking is your life. Always was, and I suppose always will be.
Jack Bate comes on at 4 to skim the pots ready for the glassmakers at 5:30. He's 64 and he used to be a glassmaker himself.
Once you get into the glass trade, you start and you take an interest in it, you're always a glassmaker. And the further you try to get away from it, the further you get into it. That's my opinion about the glass trade. You never get away from it once you get it in your blood. Because I've tried. Many times I've said, I'll get away from it. No, got to come back. I told Billy Evans that once. I said, I'll get out of it, but I'll come back. I said, further I get away from it, Bill, further I get into it. And that's all it is.
Good morning, Jack.
Good morning, Joss. Lousy morning.
Good morning, lovely morning.
Nobody feels very bright at that particular hour, apart from Billy Dixon. He's always ready for a laugh, Billy is.
Oh, I generally manage just 7 or 8 pints on a Sunday dinner time. Well, like a bucket full, pocket of Jones.
Every group is called a chair. An uprocess shop is composed of the servitor, the footmaker, the bit gatherer, and the taker in. That's 4. He has 1 chair, that's for the servitor. The foot blower is the man to start the operation up, you see. He gathers a little bit of glass as much as he needs to blow a wine bowl. And he's got a marver, that's an iron block, and he marvers that into shape, then he blows it into a mould. Afterwards he gives that to this wine bowl, he gives it to the servitor. I enjoy making glass. It's my living, yes, and sometimes when things go wrong, it's like anywhere else. You wish you worked in any trade by the glass trade, but in our most saner moments, I don't think anybody would change. Chaps that have been in it for 20 to 25 years. Probably it's a worrying trade in so much that four work in a team. It isn't like one man working on his own. A workman on a chair, he's got the worry of four men underneath him, you see? And some of the glassmakers are as temperamental as ballerinas.
Oh yes, they're very serious up there in that glasshouse. They're like the House of Lords up there. Well, but down here we're just the House of Commons.
Well, how did Steve get on the little pig last night?
What, lost again, Will? I should get him on the line. There'll be a train down in a few minutes.
One more than you anyway.
Lost again, I expect. Red, how'd the bigger get on last night?
What'd you lose, the beer or the sandwiches? I'll come up next week and train you. Never so surprised in all my life.
That time they dropped out pocket, I do, and he couldn't play marbles.
I got the cards, you go play them.
You don't hear anybody shout while he's actually making an article. You can't really. You can't take it off it. Taking the job seriously. If you're going to make any good work, you've got to take the job seriously.
This is cased work, white or flint glass with a casing of blue. If you're a glassmaker, you may dislike the new process that dilutes the skill. The teamwork of hand and eye is what really matters.
People don't understand whether glass is handmade or whether it's new process. It's the price. Well, of course, it costs more to make an handmade glass than it does a new process glass. Some of the types of glass, which we can beat the foreign, on our handmade type glass, we can beat them on that. On some types, we'll stick to the tradition. In my opinion, we try to copy the foreigner and let our own craft, the best part of our craft, slide away. You see, by trying to copy him. Because we only remember what we've seen 20 to 30 years ago, what we've seen made and have been taught to make. We can follow on that tradition. But if we don't see it made, I mean, these young people don't see that finer work being produced, then they won't be able to follow it on.
tell you what it is. It's a gift, the same as everybody else's job is. Anybody, no matter who they are in a trade, what's good in a trade, it's a gift. I mean, you could be in a trade all your life and learn. Never be no good at nothing. You always learn as you get older, you keep picking things up. I was always studying glass, you know. Don't matter where I went, first thing I did, looked at glass, see what I could find. Glass, man.
Good morning, Joe.
Morning, sir.
We've got an order in this morning for some of these air twist goblets again.
Well, that's a bit of a nuisance. That chair's been disbanded now.
Well, I do appreciate that, but we must do it. How are you going to do it?
Well, taking Evans off his chair, Shady West off his chair, and making a chair up to make them at the normal working hours.
Well, I know it's inconvenient, but we've got to look after the customer.
Well, we better make the chair up this afternoon, Friday afternoon.
All right.
Get them made now.
When shall I promise delivery?
Next week. What if I should leave this company after 5
As official of the union, I am factory secretary or shop steward at the firm, and I have to negotiate the conditions and different things with the firm. We don't have much trouble usually, and Mr. Fletcher, I've known him ever since I was a boy.
Scheme, if you join the government scheme, so that for each year of your service, I believe the figure is right.
We usually start just before 6. We work till 1:30, but we have bagging break, that's meal break, at 9:30. When the boys have had their breakfast, that's when they start to frigger. If there's a spare chair and some tools, well, they're in the pot and got the metal out. That's learning outside your job. If you're a blower, you want to learn to serve. If you're a servitor, you want to be a workman. Well, you learn to make outside your ordinary production times. That's in the bagging break. It's gone on for years and years. We've all done the same, you see.
I agree with frigging, providing the lads are doing something that's going to do them good. I mean, because it can learn you a lot, not that bad. I mean, you learn to get the feel of the touch of the glass, which is very important.
So it goes on, work and play. When we used to work 6 hours on and 6 hours off in the old days, we were finished work on a Saturday morning at 6:30. Then we were finished till Tuesday morning. It'd be Saturday, Sunday and Monday off. Well, now it's much better. We just worked the one shift and we finished at 1:30. And we've got the afternoons off to get away from it all, you see.
So I thought to myself, what's that? When I come out the back place, he's a crawling through the window. I said, hey, when you have to... He's a couple of matches. I said, that's how to come through. I said, come through the window after a couple of matches.
I tell him what you said in court, Bill.
They says, this the fella? I said, yes, that's the gentleman. I said, but they call him a gentleman the time I catch him in our house. I told him... I called him a good many names.
You can go into any place around here and you'll find there aren't many people who haven't actually worked in the glass trade. If it's only for a week, you'll get some people 45 up to 50, 35s up to 40. Pick them at random anyway around here. Nice goblet, isn't it?
Very good. This is only a two-piece.
Yes.
Well, how do you get the leg?
Oh, it's been drawn out of a piece. Been drawn out of the body, you see. Thin topped. Beautiful shape though, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yes. Very nice indeed. Very nicely fluted too.
Yeah.
Look at the top.
Yeah.
Well, that's very nice indeed, Billy, but what are...
So on Friday afternoon, Billy Evans and Shadrach Westwood make up the chair for that special order of air twist glasses. And every Friday afternoon, one of the 10 pots which hold the molten glass is changed.
Here we go!
All our stuff is good Yeah, put that bit down. Put that bit down. Put your way down. Put your way down. Put it in.
the furnace mustn't go down or the other 9 pots would crack. The new pot has to be white hot and ready.
What's it in this job? Hard and hot.
Too hot and not much money for it. 2 hours, it's about 12 and 6 12 and 6 altogether.
Enjoy it or don't enjoy it? More or less don't give the hardest part of our job, hot setter. It's all right in the winter, but not in the summer, not weather.
Tonight the beer. Feel it mostly if you have a shave. If you have a shave, it's terrible up there. You'll find the biggest part of them don't shave till after.
Brawn and artistry. The heart of the place and the heart of the trade. It's been the same for the last 3 centuries, but can it survive?
I often get asked whether we can keep going in the next 300 years as we've kept going in the previous 300, and because of our primitive tools and perhaps old-fashioned methods. I'm absolutely convinced that we shall keep going for 3 reasons. One is that we've got the determination, and secondly, we've got these tremendous craftsmen, and thirdly, well, we've got an expanding market with prosperity, more money in people's pockets, and more appreciation of things beautiful because of better education. In this machine age, when men are more and more dominated by automation and gadgets of every sort, in our case, in the case of the glass industry, at the center of it all is the craftsman, the glassmaker, and he is the man who is the very heart of this crystal trade.
Now, do you see what I mean about this being our life?